Did you want me to go ahead and begin my short presentation?
Yes, please. And then I know we're going to have some Q&A as well.
Oh, Q&A?
So,
I didn't know that.
Yes, sir. You're good. Don't worry. So we're a friendly group, but it's really nice. There's really obviously a lot of interest, and I know that KWAM was, you know, Brooke, you were on KWAM the other day, and you provided an update earlier today. So it's very important that we share with a lot of our stakeholders because they do have questions, because it will undoubtedly impact how people will reapply, and then who's going to be affected and who won't be affected. So we appreciate your time. We know you're a busy person, but we'll go ahead and give you the floor.
Thank you very much, Mary, for inviting me. And yes, I'm literally, I didn't prepare anything. I am just going from one meeting to Zoom to this to that. And so I'm just really going to speak off the cuff. Normally I would try to be well organized and have everything all written out and prepared, but I just don't have the time. So I'll just give you a quick update of what's happening. As you know, when the new guidance came out about the new PUA program, literally last Saturday, we got the guidance that 1620 change 4, which was 60 pages. And we started reading that. And within there, they highlighted, and you can see if she wanted to bring up page I-8. And this was something that the congressman wasn't aware of. And it was a little unfortunate that the congressman jumped the gun a little bit, but I do want to tell you that he reached out to me today and understands that I'm correct. I don't know what else to say. And that's something that I'm happy about. And it's not something really that I'm correct. This is something that was provided as guidance through US DOL. Not something that Congress intended, not something that had to do anything with him. It just happened to be a guidance that came out Friday, and he wasn't even aware of it. So he's reached out, and we've agreed to work together and try to resolve this. He said that he has talked to some of the Biden people. He has talked to some of his colleagues. They are all aware of it too, and they're not happy about it, although it doesn't affect the states as much. And I'll try to give you super quick cliff version because I don't want to bore you with all the facts. I'm sure you just want to know, how does this affect me? But as if you heard me on the radio, in the states, they have UI, which is unemployment insurance, and they have about a half a dozen other PUECs, extended benefits, all these different programs that cover their employees in the states. We only have one, and this is the PUA. So a lot of their employees who are working reduced hours normally just fit in the UI, and they get a reduction in UI, and they can still get the FPUC as long as their UI benefit is more than $1. So it doesn't affect them as much. So since we don't have all those extra programs, it affects everybody, more than 50% of our people here. And I'm not happy about it. I'm as devastated as the congressman was, and my reaction was similar. And I've been every day talking to USDOL region. I had an appointment with USDOL Washington, D.C. tomorrow, but they pushed it to, I think, Monday or Tuesday. I don't know whether they were scared because they heard that the governor and the congressman are going to work together to fix this. And it's really a USDOL interpretation of what was passed. And I gave you, there's a highlighted version, and I have attorneys trying to look at it, but I don't have attorneys like the congressman does and all that. But I do have someone looking at it. Myself, the governor, and the congressman are looking at ways to resolve this issue. So the long and short of it is my system is turned on for the PUA 2 or part 2, whatever you want to call it. And they are accepting applications. And so those who are totally unemployed.
My system is turned on, not our system is turned on.
So those who are unemployed can still get at least some assistance. What I'm asking for are those who are reduced in hours to hold off and wait until we can try to get a resolution. I don't know how quickly we can do it, but the time is right. Even the congressman in our talks agreed that, you know, with the new stimulus package coming up and this somewhat affecting all the other congressmen in their states, that he felt confident, and same with the governor, they felt confident that they can figure out what that fix might be. And that's what I'm going to try to do when I do talk to USDOL is, all right, I don't care about blame. I don't care who it is or what it is. What I want to care about is I have some interpretation. Will this help us buy time until we get a fix? Or is there some way, or what do we need to do to fix it and fix it as quickly as possible? I'm asking you, USDOL, is how can we change your interpretation, whether it's administrative or Congress? And hopefully we can get that rectified. And if it is, then they can either introduce it or get it fixed.
Go. I got volume. Now I can turn mine off. Freeze.
So, you know, I don't have a long thing to tell you about, and I'll be glad to answer questions. But the long and short of it is that the system is on. And if you did not expire, meaning you didn't reach your 39 weeks, then you've always been able to file your weeklies. We had the system half on. We've been doing it in parts. And we're on the same as most states. There's still some states that are still trying to figure out how to turn on. So we're running up to date with the turning on and as the same with the states. And I've been working nonstop every day and nonstop early in the mornings with the states to get this system turned on. And we're going to batch on Tuesday. The exact date, we're still working with the staff to make sure each day is clean of fraud to batch. But again, to repeat, those who are unemployed, those who are not working, nothing changes for them to go in. And if they expired, you can do a reclaim. And you might have to answer some questions, but most of the claims should be up to date with your personal and private information. You just need to recheck the boxes that you're unemployed and that you didn't have any income and all that. And then once you go through those steps, you can go back and claim the balance of your weeks up to date so that when we batch on Tuesday, you will be paid, and at least some of it. Those who are working reduced hours, please tell them to hold off. And if we do, or when we do get a fix, it will be retroed and they can file and get paid. But I'm afraid that they're going to go into the system, which is an automated system, and check the boxes correctly or incorrectly. And the system is going to take their word for it. And they're going to allow them to put in their weeks and they're going to get paid. And if some unfortunate reason we're not able to fix this, it would become an overpayment and they would have to pay us back. And that's something that I'm going through that right now. That's when the congressman called me. I was in informal appeals hearing. People that had $15,000 overpayments because they incorrectly checked the boxes, not by fraud, by not knowing, and they still got paid. And their defense was, well, you paid me, so it must be correct. You know, or else why did you pay me? And unfortunately, as in taxes, That's not an excuse. And it's the toughest thing that I have to do. So I'm trying to avoid that from happening. So I think I've gone around in circles enough. There's a few examples like this here that kind of says something. So let me tell you what is allowable. So if your business is closed and you have some employees going in at reduced hours, that is still eligible. And I didn't want to get this out to the island because it gets too hard to explain all these things, but I'll explain it to you. So if your hotel is closed, you still need to work some people part-time in order to keep the place clean. You have some security. You might have to keep your computers up. If they're working reduced hours, then of course they will be eligible accordingly if they meet they're under their thresholds. So that still holds true. It's when you're open is what they're saying that you are not eligible. But they did give an example if you're open, and they used I think it was a restaurant, where one business has a restaurant and one business had a brewery. The restaurant was closed, but the brewery wasn't affected, and they were open and still selling. So the people that were in the restaurant were eligible to receive benefits, but of course, the people that were working in the brewery were not. So if some hotels, you have a catering division and that catering division was closed, then those people will still be, are able to, if you had to work them part-time in order to maintain the foods or the refrigerators or whatever, you can see what kind of nightmare this is for me. But technically, if your business is closed, reduced hours is still allowable. Or if you're self-employed or a gig worker, you're still eligible at reduced levels. Everybody else isn't. And again, that goes back to the states where most of these people would be in UI, unemployment insurance, and there is a mechanism for them to be reduced and get paid. This is just the PUA program. So I hope I didn't confuse you any more than you already are. And again, I'm hoping that we will get a resolution between me working some angles with USDOL, the congressman working some angles, and the governor working it, because, and we also have Saipan that has joined us with this fight, because it affects us more since we don't have a UI program, and this is our only survival. And this is going to have a severe detriment to our island. And we're hoping that everybody will look for solutions towards that goal. I'll just keep rambling on, so I better just stop here, and then I'll answer any questions to the best of my abilities. I hope you understand that this is not me. I'm like you. I hate doing this. I don't agree with this. I don't want to do this, but it's not my money and not my program. And I'm going to, you know, I can't in good conscience as a DOL person go against them. But, well, you know, like I said, there's all kinds of scenarios that you can probably fit. And I've already heard them. Well, you know, and the best example is only call back those who that you really need and can work a lot, and leave the rest laid off. And only call them back when you think that you can work them enough. I know that goes against the grain what we did before, where you called everybody back, gave them partial hours, and still allow them to collect the PUA, and at least the both of them help them. So you're gonna have to adjust your thinking.
So Dave, in that vein, if they have been called back and they have reduced hours, do they have to be furloughed again to benefit, or they're no longer eligible at all? I'm sorry, laid off, and they're no longer eligible at all.
So if they're laid off, they become eligible. And I'm speaking very off the cuff because you're asking me to cookie fit everything. And it doesn't, with the UI, it doesn't always fit, but generally speaking, yes. So like I said, or your hotels are broken up into different divisions. So if the hotel's open but the banquets are closed, then all your banquet staff, you know, can still be eligible for that kind of stuff. That's the, you know, like I said, that becomes the nightmare for me to try to adjudicate. But that's my nightmare, not yours.
But at this point, it's really only employees who have 0 hours. If they have several hours in a week, they're no longer eligible for PUA.
If your business is open.
Right. But if certain divisions are closed or departments where you can actually have cross-training or you share employees in between, if those areas are open and if they're working a few hours, they're still no longer eligible.
See, now you're trying to fit me and put me in a corner. The best way I can answer that, Mary, is the division is closed and you have people in there working at reduced hours, but the division is closed, then technically I think that they can still be eligible. You got to look at the concept that DOL is looking at. If your business is open, then it's open. Your people are working reduced hours, that's the business's decision to work them because they're open for business. If a business is closed and you're working reduced hours, it's because you need to maintain the facility, you got security, computers, whatever, then it's still closed because of COVID. You can be still covered under the reduced hours. It's, you know, you can try to work every single angle, but that's the way it is. And you know, I know there's companies that have multiple businesses inside them, and some of those businesses are closed. You know, maybe like a sandcastle where they are closed with operations, but other parts are open. So they still need to have maintenance. They still need to have certain people work, but they're at whatever, how many hours they work, they would be qualified because actually that part of the business is closed. And they would just claim that as a reduced income. And as long as they're below the WBA, the 345, plus the earnings differential, 150, which is 494, then, you know, they can get a partial PUA, and now they can collect the FPUC, which is now $300. And I know Biden is proposing it to be $400.
No, I think that's a huge clarification in the fact that as long as those divisions are not remaining open, but they might be part of the skeleton crew to maintain operations for the safety and health of the environment of the building, then I think that's a huge clarification for those businesses that aren't operating. Yeah.
Especially for you guys, which a lot of your hotels have many different divisions and you might have only certain ones that are open. So, you know, that is just the gist. Now, how you work it, you know, just have mercy on me because I have to adjudicate it or I have to figure it out. And I'm going to say that I'm hoping I can, you know, we can come up with a resolution to this problem that just hit us last weekend. And the only reason why I would have just bird dog it longer and try to get an answer and not shocked everybody is because those people who are unemployed right now who don't have any jobs they don't have any income, and I wanted to turn the system on and get them paid. And so there was my dilemma, you know, my Sophie's choice. Do I wait and try to get a better answer, or do I help those who don't have anything at all? And so I took the bullet to open it up, turn on the system, and getting them paid.
So who do they speak to if they have questions at DOL on technical questions with regards to their resubmission of the forms and applications?
You know, and that's a great question, but you got to understand, I have about 15 people answering questions, and I got tens of thousands of people calling in, trying to get answers. You do the math. Either everybody stops and I don't do anything and answer questions, and I still won't be able to get to everybody. So the best thing I can tell you to do is to just please wait on those things. I'm not asking you to wait long. I know everybody's hurting, but I don't have the resources. Remember, this program was supposed to shut down. So I was on the downside, and then they just brought it back up again. And as time goes, you know, it takes me 3 to 4 weeks just to train somebody to answer the phones properly, because this program is so difficult, let alone going in to somebody's private account with all that information at their eyes and fix them and understand how to fix it and how to change it. That takes over a month worth of training to do and to get built up. And then you take the COVID, the contact tracing, the natural attrition, and these, I lose them left and right, and I can't bring them on fast enough.
So
and
a lot of the businesses
I'm just saying,
are,
there really is a 311 option 6, and pray that you can get through. But I can't give you any other, you know, Mary, if you can consolidate the questions and weed them out, you know, get them to me and I'll help you.
yeah, we can definitely do that and create an FAQ out of this.
I can't get 100 questions a day, or else I won't be able to try to solve this solution for you guys.
Right.
So yes, Mary, you can be the conduit for all the questions. You can weed them out and make sure that I'm not getting the same question asked 50 different ways. And I will be glad to try to help you get those answers for your people.
I can work with Hannah on an FAQ at your office, no problem. What about, you did state that those who are being asked to come back to work, especially as restaurants are reopening and other businesses are reopening at 50% this weekend, you said that if they are offered their same hours or even reduced hours and they decline it, we have to notify DOL.
You don't have to do anything. If you want to stop their PUA, then you have to notify us. I mean, this is a small island. I have a lot of employers saying that, but they're saying, Jesus, Dave, I'm not going to, he's got 10 kids. I'm not going to do it to him. I go, you know, that's your decision and your group's decision. If you want to report them, then we'll shut them off. Of course, we'll do our due diligence to make sure that the employee is protected, that you're not taking, you know, unfair advantage. But most likely, if you're not and they don't want to go back to work, then they would stop their benefits and you would affect their whole family. Just going to let you know that. If you report it, I act on it. It's up to you to decide if you want to report it. And yes, there will be guidance going out, because part of this new program is for me to give you a way to notify us of those employees who do not want to return to work, so that you can make it simple to give us the name and the reasons. We receive it, we do our due diligence, and we cut them off if that pans out right. So that will be coming up in the next 1 to 2 weeks.
Okay, yeah, because that was a change, and I think that was what caused a lot of the alarm, because, you know, a lot of, there are those going to be those individuals who just choose not to go to work, because even with reduced hours, they're going to make more money on PUA. So that's the reality of things.
I mean, I just call it like it is. Some of them are lazy. They just want, it's easier to collect and stay home. They've been doing it for so long now. It's, you know, we're going to have to reprogram these people. It's just, I see it already. They're home, they're getting all this money, you know, somebody, they don't need too much to result, because maybe the husband, the wife, they're getting it multiple. It's gonna take time and patience on you guys to get these people kick-started to work again. And you know that, and I know that, and it's up to you to decide when your patience wears out, and you got to start teaching them lessons.
Well, I sent the UIPL 16-20 change 4 on the chat for those who didn't get it earlier on the email. You need to, yeah, so that's already on the chat for everybody. I'd like to open up the floor for any questions. Those were some of the questions I had. Okay, no problem. And so, of course, I'd like to recognize, I believe, Kate Gell is here from, as well as board members Milton Morinaga and Sophia Chu-Wixton. Together, they are from the Tourism Education Council, as well as we have from the Society of Human Resource Management. We do have with us, I believe Charlotte is on. I'm trying to look. There's a lot of people on this, but Charlotte is the immediate past president, and then Daphne Leon Guerrero is the incoming president, and then Yolanda Padrones is president-elect. And so they're here with us as well to join our HR committee in this. So I'd like to open up the questions, the floor for any questions.
I have a question.
Okay.
I mean, at least for me, it's kind of clear because we're actually seeing this trend. We also just saw a case pass with the WARN Act, which was saying that companies are subject to that if kind of the same scenario, if they're open. But if they were actually closed, no, they're not subject to it. But if they're open under whatever, you know, if there's a P Corps in their area, if they're open, then they're subject. So it sounds a little bit like that's kind of the mindset that if you're closed, then you're availing of these pandemic related relief. But if you're actually able to be open, it's starting to fall under a little question. So I kind of understand where this is going. But from our side, and they have been, at least under what is the current but soon changing administration, there's been a little bit a different treatment when it comes to the territories, understanding our particular scenarios. Is there anything we can do as individuals? I know that you and the congressman and the governor are doing your best in terms of working with the different agencies, but in the past, anyone, like for us as individuals, to write with or have our members write with or try to express the need of the particular scenarios in the territories?
That's a great question. And yes, there may be, is right now, this is also happening so fast. And I will, if I, I keep that in my back pocket. And as I work with the governor and the congressman, and if it's needed, between the chamber, between you guys, between other groups, get a letter put together, then I will let Mary know. And, as a whole group, whatever it takes, yeah, that might add to it. It all depends on exactly. We don't know where the fix is going to come from because we just don't know exactly how we're going to do this. But like I said, according to the congressman, he felt very and you know that with this new package coming out and everything, that even my region knows how unfair this is because we don't have a UI program and how this is going to decimate the territories. And, but, it's all has to do with, their interpretation and how they read it. So they're going to need to get pressure and how and when we're going to do it. So you may get, if I need it, then you're going to get you're going to need to drum it up fast. So kind of be prepared kind of for if if the governor or the congressman feel that would add little ammunition to their back pocket to have some letters of support, then yes, be ready for it. But as of right now, I don't want you to spin wheels and spend a lot of time until we know what direction this is going and where the fix might come from. I mean, the worst case, it might have to be introduced something at Congress that just tells them, yes, these people in the territories who do not qualify under the UI program, since there's nothing, will now qualify those reduced hours and, and work with the WBA, less the earning disregards like everybody else. They did give the exception, if you read the 1620, to the gig workers and to the self-employed. They are able to work and still collect. They not only, whatever, most of these self-employed people don't work hours, they just work. So in there, you see the terms, like if you're in tourism and you're a self-employed person and you're trying to work to make some kind of living out of it, and that you show that you have a huge diminution of an income, then you would still able to collect. You would just put in whatever earnings you had, less the WBA and all that. So those, but this is what the PUA program was initially for. Those self-employed gig workers and the little bit that doesn't fall in UI. On Guam, that little bit is everybody. In the States, everybody falls in UI. That's why I'm trying to tell you, we are in a unique situation since we don't have UI, and we get screwed because of that. I know that was a long answer, sorry.
No, that's what I was saying. And in fact, in some of the earlier relief wording, they actually, they would specifically put some mention of territory in there because our situation is unique. So just let us know.
I will let you know through Mary, and then she can pull it off. Thank you.
I have a question. Actually, the person doesn't have a mic working. So Guam qualifies for $300 additional dollars. Who will release the 1099 or W-2 for unemployment payments? Clarification on how so that's the first question. So Guam qualifies for the $300 additional. Who will release the 1099 or W-2?
So
is that you?
So good question. And, I should put some more information out on it. It's just last week we are already working on that right now. And they're going to be printed out and mailed before the deadline. I think is January 31st, before that. But when we run it, there will be electronic copy available on each claimant's dashboard. So if they want to file early, they can pull it and print it for themselves. So it is being already worked on and being finalized, and it's going to be put out in the mail probably, if I had to guess, by next week sometime. But as soon as it is batched and that electronic file is sent to DOA for us to print and then stuff in envelopes and mail out, it'll be available in each claimant's dashboard so they can immediately go in there, print it out themselves, and if they want to file early. So we will meet the statutory deadlines, if that's the official word for it.
Okay, great.
And we're working on it now. And yes, we do qualify for the 300.
Okay, good. The
so
third
you will
question,
get, I'm sorry, you will get 1099s for your PUA and your FPUC. I don't know if they'll be in one or separated. They may be separated. And the LWA doesn't need one because you don't have to declare. There's no taxes on that.
Okay. And then they need clarification on how 39 weeks works, on how employees are eligible to continue to apply.
I mean, employees. So the 39 weeks, and that's why the system went live at midnight last night. And what happens is that those, on March 16th, when we went on PCOR 1, and you went all the way nonstop, you would have expired the 12th of December. That would have been your 39th week. And therefore, you couldn't file any more weeklies. It says that you have exhausted. And those who didn't kept filing to the 26th, which was the end of the period. And then when it got extended and we turned it on, it allowed you to continue filing your weeks. But when the Congress passed, or the president signed in and it went into law, the 39 weeks changed to 50 weeks. So those who expired, you were allowed to get your 40th week on January 2nd, because the old program, PUA 1, expired the 26th, and you exhausted those 39 weeks. So you can't file for those weeks already. Your 40th week starts on the 2nd. And if you count the additional 11 weeks, that is when the regular program and the FPUC expires, and that'll be March 13th. And that's when the FPUC stops, and most people who've expired before stops. But then there's called the phase out period. So those who haven't reached their 39 weeks, let's say you were unemployed in October, and if you filed all the way through, you're not going to expire at the end of the PUA. You might have only been 20 some weeks. You can continue, they have called a phase out period till April 10th. So you can collect those extra weeks, and then April 10th is the last day period. It stops. Unless Biden changes something again. But that's what it is. So you have the March 13th for most people who have exhausted, and the FPUC exhausted, and those who didn't will just continue on without a break, and you could just keep filing. And at the 13th, you didn't reach your 50 weeks, you would still be able to go until you reach your 50 weeks or until you reach April 10th, and then it stops. Did you get that?
Okay. Yeah, I don't have any follow-up questions on that one. They said thank you. There is a question to what I was asking earlier with regards to an employee. If your division is closed,